Let's cut straight to the chase. UVA women's basketball's non-conference schedule for the upcoming season is so light, it might as well come with a side of whipped cream and a cherry on top. Amaka Agugwa-Hamilton, affectionately known as Coach Mox, has put together a lineup that feels more like a walk in the park than a competitive slate of games. And while this approach may ensure some early season wins, it raises serious questions about whether this strategy benefits the team in the long run. If you're curious about how this decision could shape the program's future, or lack thereof, keep reading. The schedule, https:/virginiasports.com/sport/WBBall, features 8 home games, but don't expect any nail-biting matchups. According to last season's RPI rankings, the toughest opponent among these home games is Bucknell, a team that went 17-14 and ranked 176th overall in the final RPI standings of the 2024-2025 season. That's right, folks. Bucknell is the cream of the crop here. Not far behind them is Howard University, which boasts a respectable record of 22-12, but still sits at 177th in the same RPI rankings. So, if you were hoping for thrilling battles against powerhouse teams, you might want to temper your expectations. But here's where things get even softer. The remaining opponents include Northwestern State 209, Maryland Eastern Shore 227, Longwood 245, UMBC 296. Radford 305, Morgan State 320, and Winthrop 321. To give you an idea of what we're working with, these teams collectively posted mediocre records last season. For example, Maryland Eastern Shore managed only 10 wins compared to 17 losses, while Radford struggled similarly, finishing with 12 wins and 17 defeats. It almost makes you wonder if the Little Sisters of the Poor were too busy to pencil in a game. Now, before we completely write off the entire schedule, there are 2 games worth mentioning. Both involve top 100 teams, offering a glimpse of hope for fans craving tougher competition. First up is the Emerald Coast Classic in Destin, Florida, kicking off on November the 24th against Northwestern State. Then, depending on the outcome, the Cavaliers will face either Nebraska, ranked 40th in RPI, or Purdue-Fort Wayne, ranked 82nd, the following night. These matchups should provide a bit of a challenge, but let's not kid ourselves. They're hardly enough to prepare the team for ACC play. The second notable contest takes place on December the 3rd, when UVA travels to Nashville to take on Vanderbilt in the ACC-SEC Challenge. Ranked 22nd in the final RPI, Vanderbilt represents the strongest opponent on the schedule. However, credit for scheduling this game doesn't go to Coach Mox. It was arranged by the ACC and ESPN as part of the annual Challenge Series. Without this marquee matchup, the schedule would feel even emptier than it already does. So, what does all this mean? Well, if Coach Mox's squad can't manage at least a 9-2 record during this stretch of relatively easy games, alarm bells should start ringing loudly. After 3 seasons at the helm, her overall record stands at 48-46, a number skewed heavily by struggles within the ACC, where her teams have looped along with a dismal 19-35 mark. Clearly, dominating weaker opponents hasn't translated into success against conference rivals, and that's a problem. And this is the part most people miss. Consistently padding the win column with cupcake games won't cut it forever. At some point, the powers that be will demand better performance in the ACC, where the real tests lie. Can Coach Mox continue to rely on soft schedules and underwhelming results in conference play without jeopardizing her position? Or will the administration step in to demand a tougher preseason slate that actually prepares the team for the rigors of ACC basketball? As we look ahead to the 2025 to 2026 non-conference schedule, here's a breakdown of the dates and opponents. Thursday, October 30th, Frostburg State, Exhibition, JPJ Arena. Tuesday, November 4, Morgan State, JPJ Arena. Sunday, November 9, Bucknell, JPJ Arena. Thursday, November 13, UMBC, JPJ Arena. Sunday, November 16, Radford, JPJ Arena. Thursday, November 20, Longwood, JPJ Arena. Monday, November 24th, Northwestern State, Destin, Florida. Tuesday, November 25th, Nebraska, Purdue, Fort Wayne, Destin, Florida. Sunday, November 30th, Maryland, Eastern Shore, JPJ Arena. Wednesday, December 3rd, Vanderbilt, Nashville, Tennessee. Wednesday, December 10, Howard, JPJ Arena. Saturday, December 20th, Winthrop, JPJ Arena. What do you think? Is this schedule setting the team up for failure, or is it a smart way to build confidence early in the season? Does Coach Mox deserve criticism for this approach, or are there valid reasons for keeping the competition light? Share your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear from you.